Hello, my name is Jacob, and I'm a Norse Pagan. And for the first time, I'm at a gathering simply as a guest. I'm up in Illinois this weekend to take part in a northern gathering of 30 to 35 people, and it's just camping. We're all in tents, there's a central shelter, but for the most part, we're out in nature the entire time. And the nature here is absolutely incredible. It's been very strange being someone who isn't actually part of the planning process to just show up. In fact, I showed up a day late, so things had already happened, to walk about the land, have people show me where the shrines are. And it has been a very strange experience to I don't know, it's just like a completely different process being on the other side of things. There was a ritual last night I was on the other side of. I wasn't part of the planning, wasn't part of the, the actual, talking parts. I wasn't actually participating in the offering in the sense that I was the announcer, the speaker for the gods. I was just someone giving an offering. And it's been a very strange switch in my mind. But most importantly, and the subject of this video, is I gave an offering to Odin. The reason this is different is because at gatherings I put on, almost every single time, offerings and shrines pop up in the woods, whether it's to Thor, to Freyr, to Skadi, to Uller, to, all these different gods. And I've never actually got to really make my own shrines or make my own area. And so when they took me through the woods and they showed me this tree right here, they were like, this is our Odin tree. And I looked at the land and it hadn't been really taken care of. There's still trash everywhere, lots of leaves. And I knew this was my mission because I had never gotten the opportunity to spend time with one deity where my sole purpose was to build up an area for them, to make it, this is the Odin area. And so that's what I did. And so in this video, I'm calling an offering to Odin just because that's why I'm here. Yes, I'm here to meet the folk, and yes, I'm here to, participate in these events, but I finally have time for me. And what I wanted to do with that time is to spend quality time with Odin. It's been a while since I had done that, and I've never done something to this extent where I actually created a sacred space in such a place like this just for him. I mean, I probably spent 3 or 4 hours just on this shrine to him, and it's something I've never been able to do. It was kind of a wild process. So I cleaned up the area of all the trash, and there was lots of metal, and then I ended up creating this ring around it. And I found a rake to do that, but I ended up pushing all the leaves together in almost like a wall, like a barricade. And then I traveled down to the river here, the creek, and I collected 9 stones and carried them up to the creek, from the creek, and placed them all around the edge. Before doing this, I actually did create a sacred space, so to speak. So I actually took, and this was actually my first offering to him, I took a walking stick, which I used in my Summoned by the Allfather, 3rd video I ever did of it. It was the walking stick I had when I had my last experience with him, and it's one that's carried me through so many hikes and through so many adventures. And I went around the tree 9 times, each time summoning Odin, talking to him, asking him to join us tonight. And this was still daytime. And as I was walking around, I was like, be here tonight, kind of knowing I was going to do something tonight. I'm like, be with us here in these woods tonight. Be with us here, Odin. 9 times I went around summoning Odin and creating the sacred circle for him. And that's when, of course, I piled up the leaves around the line, cleaned it up, and made this sacred circle. At the very end of the 9 rings around, I took my walking stick, and I knew this was my first offering. What better offering to the Wanderer than one of my walking sticks? So I shouted it on my leg, and shouted it again, and made an Anzus rune, the rune of wisdom, the rune of Odin, and placed it at the base of the altar. Several people had given offerings the night before, so there was some things already set up, but I made it a little nicer, put some candles around the ring, and I felt Odin immediately. It was like I had done something. I just started laughing, because that's kind of, when I feel Odin a lot, when I realize an aha moment, I tend to start laughing. And later that night, I came back, or later last night, I went up to a bunch of people. I'm like, hey, I'm about to go give an offering to Odin. I'm going to put out the candles at the end. That way we can have the candles for tomorrow as well and end the ritual to Odin. So we all came out, and I didn't actually get any of it on camera. And that's this is really the only time I'm going to record while I'm out here is, talking about this offering, because this gathering isn't about me. This gathering is not about, the wisdom of Odin. This gathering is about the people that are here. And so it felt wrong to record it. Someone else is recording it for them. That's not my job. I'm not here to record this. And not to mention, I'm still tired from the fall gathering in Kentucky. So it's not really my job to record here. So this is a whole separate video, talking about my experiences. And so, and the ritual itself was much more tamed down. It was very calm. Again, mostly because I'm still getting my voice back from the fire ritual at the Kentucky gathering. But also it didn't feel right. This is not my gathering to be loud. This is not my gathering to invoke the gods in such a way. This is a gathering to be somber, to reflect on the time that, we have been given. And so I brought everyone out. We all stood in front of a candle, and then one by one, we just went around a circle talking to Odin, speaking to him. I mean, I summoned him in a way, I was just like, hey, this is for Odin. This is my offering to Odin. See his faces in the tree. And then we just went around the circle, and we gave our offerings to Odin one by one, or just said words to him. And at the very end, the night had been very calm. We all sat down by the candles, and we all just had a moment of silence. I mean, nothing had to be said. We all just sat down and looked at the candles. And then when I was done, I went down, I blew out my candle. And then everyone went around and blew out theirs. And then basically, as soon as we stood up, we heard wind in the trees behind us. Just like whooshing. I mean, it was just like a spiral. And then it came through this valley and knocked all these leaves down all over us. And I just kind of looked at everyone. I'm like, Odin is here. He has arrived. And I mean, it was just such a cool experience. I'm so glad I got to take that time for me and for Odin, but also to bring others along with me. It's been very strange not being the ritual leader and not being the person that put this on and just being part of the folk. It's been kind of nice that at some point I just get to decide to go to bed, or I just get to go wander in the trees. And watching others put on these rituals, like Chris last night put on a great fire ritual, and then he even came up to me at one point and was just like, I know what it is to be you now. I'm like, oh yeah, you're tired, aren't you? And he's like, I'm very tired. But also at the same time, he felt, connected to the people around him that were part of that ritual. And he was going off and doing what I like to do at gatherings and saying, hey, you need to go spend time with Tyr. Hey, you need to go spend time with Odin. And then leading people on spiritual journeys. And you could just see it in his face that he got it. And that's what I love about putting on these gatherings, is being able to connect to the people at your rituals. And once again, it's very strange that that's not why I'm here. Why I'm here is to be with Odin and be with the folk. And I really think that Odin appreciated this altar, and I'm so glad I got to spend time with it. It's been so long since I was able to spend hours on just Odin. And so, if there's anything you take from this video, it's that if you're feeling disconnected from a certain god, build something for them. I've seen it in I've been inspired by so many folk at the gatherings I've put on, where they go out in the woods and they build these elaborate temporary structures to these gods. And once again, it makes me so excited for the potential of a hall and a hall of lands, that these structures can become more permanent. So if you want to get more connected to Odin, go build something for him. Go build an altar in the woods to him. Give to him. I mean, I gave some crown royal, I gave my walking stick, but I think what truly meant the most was building this altar for him. So, folk, that's all I have for this video. Again, I don't want to record too much of this. I put a little bit of footage in here for you, but for the most part, I'm just here to enjoy myself. I'm just here to connect to Odin and connect to the folk here. But we are planning Yule as we speak for Kentucky. The time of breaks is not going to last much longer, but I hope you've enjoyed this small video. And folk, until the hall, until the next gathering, Skål.